Before we start to talk about sustainability in cosplay, let's first understand what cosplay is and why people wear those elaborate costumes. According to Range, cosplay, which is short for costume and play, is more than just dressing up. It's about transforming into a character, whether from anime, manga, video games, or movies. Cosplayers, or cosers for short, don't just wear costume. They research the character, they craft outfits, and even learn signature poses and performances or the line of the character. Cosplay as a subculture has rooted in both Japan and North America. While some says it starts in US with sci-fi and fantasy conventions, others argue it was popularized in Japan when anime fans embraced costume play at events. Either way, costume has become a global phenomenon, from Tokyo's Akihabara to Los Angeles Comic-Con. Far beyond what many might expect, the cosplay community is vast and rapidly expanding. You might even be a part of it, unless, of course, you've never dressed up for Halloween or a themed event. Globally, an estimated 10 million people actively participate in cosplay, and this number continues to rise. According to a rather conservative estimate, this community generates $4.8 billion in market value in 2023 and is expected to double by 2033. No longer limited to niche anime fans, cosplay is thrived at Comic-Con, gaming expos, and online communities. Each year, millions of fans showcase their creation at major events, with some conventions drawing over 100,000 attendees in just a few days. Cosplay is not confined to Japan or the United States. It is now expanding worldwide. Surveys indicate that over half of fan convention attendees have cosplayed at least once, while 23% identify themselves as dedicated cosplayers. Cosplay isn't just about dressing up. It's an investment. Research shows that on average, cosplayers spend $480 per year. But where does those money go? Costumes, wigs, props, each essential to bring a character to life. But what are they made of? Well, most cosplay costumes use polyester, a synthetic fabric valued for its affordability and versatility. Cheaper outfits often blend cotton and polyester, making them lightweight but still largely non-biodegradable. Wigs, typically acrylic fibers or canacolum, both petroleum-based. Props, often EVA foam, lightweight yet durable. While accessible, these materials have a lasting environmental impact, non-decomposed naturally.
I do wear the same costume for multiple times. Like for example, my first costume, which is a remove from Tour project, I got that costume about like 5 or 6 years ago, and I still keep that one. To me, I only cosplay the character if I really love that character. I will spend lots of time and effort to try to study that character and learn his or her personality.
Cosplay was once built on craftsmanship, with fans sewing and sculpting by hand. Today, low-cost mass production has replaced much of this artistry. Factories using synthetic fibers and cotton blinds now dominate the market, making cosplay increasingly similar to fast fashion. And with the social media, cosplay has become a commercialized, trend-driven industry, fueling an endless cycle of buying, discarding, and replacing, mirroring the habit of fast fashion costumers. According to Rose and Salter, many cosplayers today operate as entrepreneurs, using platforms like Instagram and OnlyFans to build audience and momentize their costumes. This shift has pushed creators to constantly produce new looks, not out of passion, but out of economic necessity and algorithmic pressure. In their words, cosplayers seeking to monetize their labor rely upon social media to establish an identity and following, often cycling through costumes to stay visible and relevant. The question now is there a way forward? To explore that, we've turned to someone who studied this closely.
I think the difference between street fashion and cosplay is one is the demand of street fashion and fast fashion is much bigger than cosplay, and the second is you don't see people wearing cosplay costumes, but you can see people wearing Gap or Zara clothes on the street. However, the cosplay fashion and street fashion has merged together in Japan. We have all kinds of aesthetics such as jirai-kai and visual kai in Japan. You can see people wearing their cosplay costumes, and they're representing certain aesthetics of jirai-kai and or visual kai in the streets of Tokyo. This has greatly increased the reusability of the cosplay costumes.
Instead of letting cosplay mirror fast fashion, our guest suggested another path. What if cosplay evolved into a form of street fashion? Subcultures like Gothic, Lolita, along with visual kei and jirai-kai, have already blurred the line between costume and identity. These styles bring fantasy into everyday life instead of solely on Comic-Con or internet, showing that performative fashion can become lived fashion. As Ganni suggested, this type of fashion creates an autonomous and self-governed community, where clothing is more than just a style, it becomes a culture. But street fashion isn't the only solution. Some cosplayers turn to second-hand trading or a resale platform to extend the life of costumes. Still, this comes with challenges.
Customs, but to me, I just don't like it. It's kind of a personal hygiene concern, so I would prefer to keep all my customs and wear them in the future.
Well, not as widely recognized as big branding sustainability campaigns. Some cosplayers have begun exploring more eco-friendly approaches. Blogger Victoria Vader advocates for what she calls doing what you can, the eco-cosplay, reusing old clothing, minimizing waste, and embracing imperfections. Her idea is simple. Not every costume has to be new, and sustainability can start with small personal choices. But this raises an important question. When it comes to cosplay, how do you balance sustainability and authenticity?
I think authenticity and sustainability, they're not in an against relationship. However, they're quite cooperative and they have merged together. What you're doing is actually bridging the gap between the fictional character and your real life.
One answer comes from researchers Sarah West and Kathleen Smith, who explored upcycling as a hands-on alternative. Using discarded materials like thrifted curtains or old bed sheets, they demonstrate how costume could still be expressive and detailed without relying on fast fashion or virgin synthetics. But not everyone agrees with this approach. For some cosplayers, using found or recycled material feels unreliable, especially for the props and costumes that require structural strength or fine details.
Especially in Canada, we don't have the infrastructure to do the recycle. Whatever you throw in the recycle bin may end up in the landfill, so it's not really sustainable at all.
To wrap this up, I like to showcase one of my costumes that I made 2 years ago. I used leftover IKEA packaging boxes to build a headpiece of Chainsaw Man character. It wasn't perfect, but at least it was creative and low waste and honestly kind of fun. Sustainability in cosplay may not be a mainstream conversation yet, but that just means there's still so much potential waiting to be explored. After all, imagination has always been at the heart of cosplay. Maybe it's time we apply that same creativity to show how we care for the world around us.